Money has a speed. And if you don't know yours, you'll spend your whole life waiting on a check that should have already arrived. Let me take you back. See, I did what most people do. You know, you go to LinkedIn, you go to Indeed.com, any remote work site. You see a job posting, you polish your resume. You might even change it up in ChatGPT for that specific position, right? You send it out, and maybe you'll hear back, maybe you don't. You go through the first interview, then they say, we'd love to bring you in for a second round. So you go back and do it again. Wait some more. And then you finally get an offer. You negotiate a little. Maybe, if you're confident, sign the paperwork, show up on day one. I work the hours they tell me to work. I show up when they say show up. And I leave when they say leave. And then I wait 2 weeks for a paycheck, because you got to work the first week, and if you don't get paid weekly, then you got to work 3 weeks to get a 2-week check. If the pay period doesn't align right, this is what you're up against. 6 weeks from the moment I decided I needed income to the moment that I actually held it in my hands. And here's what nobody told me. That system wasn't designed for my acceleration. That system wasn't designed for the system was designed for someone else's comfort. My skills, their schedule. My time, their check. My energy, their timetable. And I was okay with it because it felt safe. It felt like security. But security is not the same as well. Now, before anyone comes from me, I'm not saying jobs are bad. Because you might be using your job as leverage before you get out there to do your own thing. I'm saying you need to understand what you are trading when you choose that path. You are trading time for money on someone else's terms. You are trading flexibility for a fixed ceiling. You are trading speed, and that is the part that nobody talks about. Because here's the thing. That paycheck you waited 6 weeks for, it was already decided before you sat down at your desk on day one. They told you the salary in the interview, or maybe even in the job posting, which is why you actually considered moving forward with them. There was no negotiation on speed. No possibility of making more this week because you showed up better. No upside for going above and beyond. The amount was fixed. The timeline was fixed, and your income was locked inside a system you did not design. And a lot of you watching this right now, that's your life. No worries, that was my life. Not because you're smart, not because you're not talented, and not because God didn't give you gifts, but because nobody taught you there was another speed available. And I want to introduce you to that concept. And that changed how I think about money forever. Myron Golden, one of my favorite business strategists, and just his mind about wealth is brilliant, right? One of the most brilliant minds on wealth. He's also an author, and he said this, and I really need you to hear it. This is what he said. Most people don't realize that they already make enough money. They just don't realize, they just don't make the amount of money they can make fast enough or often enough. I'm going to say it again. He said most people don't realize that they already make enough money. They just don't make the amount of money they make fast enough or often enough. You already make enough. You just make it slowly. He goes on. He says if you make $1 million a month, you are 12 times richer than the person who makes $1 million a year. Same amount, different speed. If you make $1 million a week, you are 52 times richer. And if you make $1 million a day, you are 365 times richer. The money didn't change. The speed changed. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but Coach LC, I'm not trying to make $1 billion. I just need consistent income so that I can compound. I hear you. Some of you don't even care about compounding. Some of you don't care about retirement, nothing. But let me bring this home. If you make $8,000 in 12 months, that's slow. If you make $8,000 in 90 days, that's different. That's a business. Same $8,000, different speed. And that speed, that's what the intensive is built for. So what does the entrepreneur actually do different? Let me show you. The entrepreneur does not wait for permission to earn. She sees a need in the market. She builds an offer. She makes it available. She talks about it. She enrolls a client. That cycle from I have something to sell to I have money in my account can happen in 72 hours. Not 6 weeks, not 2 pay periods, 72 hours. Here's what that looks like in practice. Okay, Monday, she identifies her problem, the problem that her dream client is sitting in right now. Tuesday, she positions her offer as the bridge out of that problem. Wednesday, she has a conversation, not a pitch, a conversation. She asks questions. She listens. She presents the solution. By Thursday, she may have a new client enrolled. The employee waited 6 weeks doing the same mundane task over and over, putting the hours in. The entrepreneur moved in 4 days. Same 24 hours in a day, different relationship with speed. And here's the part I need you to hold on to. The entrepreneur didn't just make money faster. She made better decisions faster. She got feedback faster. She refined her offer faster. She grew faster. Speed isn't just about income. Speed is about momentum. So why don't more women make this shift? Because slow is safe. The job had a contract, a title, a benefits package, a direct deposit you can count on. The business has none of that at first. None of that at first. In the brain, your beautiful, protective, risk-averse brain says, stay where you know the outcome. But here's what I've watched over and over with my clients. The women who stay in slow don't stay there because they lack ability. They stay there because they haven't seen what fast looks like up close. They haven't been in a room where someone said, here's the 90-day path. Here's the offer structure. Here is the conversation framework. Here's how you go from 0 to 8,000, and it doesn't take a year. That's the shift. Not motivation, not mindset quotes, but a clear path to speed. So here's where I want to pause. If you've been watching this and you are thinking, I want to move faster. I'm tired of waiting on a check I didn't decide, and I'm ready to build something that pays me on my terms. I want you to DM me the word gold carrier. I'll walk you through exactly what the 90-day intensive looks like for your business. Not a template, but yours customized just for you, because you could be an author and a coach. You can be just a ministry leader. You could just be a founder of a new side hustle. Maybe you just opened up an Etsy business and you're like, how can I make money faster? Let me show you what we do inside the intensive, because this is not a course that you consume and then just forget it. Week 1, we identify exactly what you're selling and who it's for. Not in theory. We get real specific. Real offer, real audience, real price point. Week 2, we build the conversation that converts. You don't need a funnel. You don't need a website. Maybe you already have these things. We can tweak them. You just need to know how to talk to the right person about the right problem. That's it. When you know behavior, you know marketing. Week 3, you have your first sales conversation. Real one, not a practice run. I'm with you. We debrief. We sharpen. Week 4 through 8, your emotion. Posting content that positions you, because it's all about positioning and conversations. Enroll clients. And every week we review the numbers and adjust. By week 12, you know your speed. You know how fast you can generate a conversation, how fast you can convert that conversation, how fast money moves in your business when you stop waiting for someone to tell you it's time. One of my clients, a woman in ministry who had never charged for her gifts, went through this process and enrolled her first 3 paid clients in 30 days. She didn't have a website. She didn't have a logo, but she did have a clear offer, a conversation framework, and the courage to move at a new speed. That is what is available to you. So let me leave you with this. The job is not the enemy. It's the wait. Waiting on someone else's timeline, waiting on a second interview, waiting on a pay period, waiting to be discovered, waiting for the right moment. Here's the truth. Decide to stop waiting. Woman of God, the right moment is in the one that you decide to move in. Myron Golden said, wealth is measured more in time than in money. You can have all the talent in the world, all the anointing, all the gifts, but if you don't increase the speed at which you generate revenue, you will spend those gifts waiting. You were not built to wait. You were built to deliver. So what speed are you operating at now? Right now. And more importantly, what speed are you willing to learn? If this stirs something in you today, subscribe. I talk about building your kingdom business without building it on burnout, scarcity, or someone else's timeline. And when you're ready to stop waiting and start moving, DM me, Gold Carrier. I'll see you inside. Woman of God, you were made to flourish, not just finish.